How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech and also to another tech news video. We are kind of doing these daily now, so I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Yesterday we talked about the RTX 3050 launch. We even have one here, a new game from Blizzard, some new Star Wars games, and the struggling Nvidia ARM deal, and then a couple of more topics. Well, today we got some news on the leaked AMD APU benchmarks, a new Crysis game, Intel beating out Apple, kinda, and then also the SteamDeck release date, which we are all excited for. Now, starting off, as everyone knows by now, we are in the middle of a great GPU crisis. Well, Crytek was seeing everyone crying about it and decided that it's a perfect time to announce the new Crysis 4 game. Great, so another game that nobody will be able to play because of shortages and also just graphics probably going to be insane. Anyway, Crytek announced Crysis 4 out of nowhere, stating it is something you have been asking for a longer time. So it's now finally time to confirm, yes, the next Crysis game is happening. We are so pleased and excited to bring this news to you, and we really can't wait to reveal more details about what lies ahead. Crytek continued by saying right now the game is in early stages of development, so it will be a while yet, but we wanted to bring you the news at this time as we are so hyped for the future and to let you know that we will be listening to our community. Now, I have to say I'm actually really excited for a new Crysis game. But if the GPU shortage isn't better by the time it actually releases, I think only the Lizard King will be able to play Crysis 4 on max settings with his 6,000 GPU supercomputer. So you'll understand what I mean by that if you watched our previous tech news video with Meta launching a new supercomputer. Now, I'm sure that a lot of people like myself are just not that excited for Pokemon games anymore, even though I really do love them, but it's been roughly the same thing for kind of decades now, and even some of the new releases, it just feels the same thing every time. But of course, that could just be me. Well, that might change with the new release of Pokemon Legends Arceus, with it being the first Pokemon game that features an open world aspect. The game plays off way back in the past, like literally you have to create your own first Pokédex. The region you play in is the Hisu region with different biomes hosting different Pokemon as well. Pokemons roam wild and you can freely catch them by throwing your Pokeballs at them to catch them. The battles are still the same turn-based style, but it does seem to be a bit faster paced. Now, I'm not sure if I'm that excited that I'll actually go out and buy a Switch just to play a single Pokemon game, but at least there are more options again available for the really big Pokemon fans. Now, some juicy news that I'm excited for is that the new Ryzen 5 6600H mobile APU will match the performance of the desktop 5600X, which is insane if you think about that. That makes it a 47% faster than its predecessor, the 5600H, which is again mobile chip. Specifications wise, the AMD Ryzen 5 6600H or HS is a 6-core 12-thread chip that is based on the Zen 3 Plus architecture. It features a base clock of 3.3 GHz and a boost clock of 4.5 GHz. The CPU carries 16 megabytes of L3 cache and 3 megabytes of L2 cache. The TDP is also set at 45 watts for the H model and 35 watts for the HS variant. The GPUs will include a cut-down Radeon 6600M with a 6 RND 2 compute unit or 384 cores, which will clock up to 1900 MHz. For the benchmarks, the Lenovo 82RD laptop was spotted by bench leaks within the Geekbench 5 database, running the AMD Ryzen 5 6600H and featuring 16 gigs of memory. The APU scored up to 1472 in the single-threaded benchmark and 8054 in the multi-threaded score. The CPU even managed to be just as fast as the desktop grade again 5600X that scored 1615 points in single-threaded and 8146 points in the multi-core test. The main thing to note is that the Ryzen 6600H was running on the balanced profile, which means that the performance profile will offer even a higher performance, and the chip can without a doubt match the desktop class at only 45 watts. which is honestly really nice, especially for once you build a nice small compact system that doesn't use a lot of power that you can take on the go with you or leave it as a media system. Now unfortunately there's no graphics benchmarks yet, but hopefully it's going to be okay so that budget gamers will have an option to at least play some games without needing to go and take out a loan to actually afford a GPU. Because again, we have the 6500X and now the 3050, but both of them are just way overpriced and the performance is so hopefully this will be a better option because at least you get the CPU then included. Now staying on the topic of CPUs, the Apple M1 Max chip was for sure an impressive piece of tech. I honestly didn't think that the Apple chip would perform that well, and I'm really glad that I was wrong about that. But now Intel has taken back the crown from some of the lead benchmarks that we have seen, beating out the M1 chip with the latest Alder Lake i9 CPU. But that also kind of draws a lot more power, so we'll see. The latest benchmarks were done on the MSI GE76 Radar laptop. As stated by Macworld earlier, benchmark results of the Alder Lake Core i9 chip confirmed that it is more powerful than the M1 Max chip that powers the new 16-inch MacBook Pro. The Geekbench 5 results appear to show that the Radar with the i9 12900HK has an average multi-core score of 12,707. On the other hand, the M1 Max chip features a multi-core score of 12,244. So in comparison, the i9 CPU is around 4% faster than the M1 Max chip. But now also Macworld measured that the i9 was constantly resting around 100 watts and that it also jumped up to 140 watts at times. However, Nantech found that the Apple M1 Max chip in the MacBook Pro model used only 40 watts in comparison. So yeah, you're getting 4% increase in performance, but also it draws between 60 to 70% more power. So is that actually beating out? For graphics, the i9 comboed with the new and very expensive RTX 3080 Ti GPU really shows the difference between the two, but also only when using the dedicated GPU. The combo scored 143,594 points against the M1 Max score of only 54,774 in Geekbench's OpenCL test. However, if you use the integrated graphics on the i9, the score drops to only 21,097, so much lower. Now, since the MSI GE76 uses the thirsty i9 and then also the 3080 Ti, the system only lasted nearly 6 hours with offline video playback compared to the 21 hours advertised by Apple and their 16-inch MacBook Pro. So I still kind of think that Apple won here just because of the entire combination that you actually get. I'm not sure about pricing compared to both of these, but it does look pretty nice, and I have to say I wouldn't mind actually upgrading the Aero here with those specs, so we'll see. And then finally, who's excited for some handheld PCs? Because that's the only way you're probably going to be able to play games in the future, because GPUs are just way too expensive. Now, I think a lot of us are, and I know also again, Valve has taken pre-orders for their SteamDeck system. Well, we don't have to wait much longer, as they have now announced that the SteamDeck will officially arrive on the 28th of February next month. But now anyway, on February 25th, Valve will begin sending order emails to people wanting to purchase the SteamDeck. Each order link will only have 3 days before it expires, after which the queue will move on to the next person, which means that the first gamers will receive their units by February 28th. At the same time, Valve has confirmed that it has been sending out a praise unit for reviewers. Unfortunately, I didn't get one, but I'm pretty sure like Linus and some of the other reviewers will have it. The embargo for reviews lifts on February 25th as well, so there we will have enough time to decide whether the SteamDeck is really going to be worth the money. In reality though, with thousands of people waiting in a queue, one could not believe that somebody would purchase the handheld even if there are unexpected issues. Now, the Steam Deck does feature the new AMD Van-Go APU with the Zen 2 and RDNA 2 microarchitecture. Now there are also 4 other handhelds coming out this year, so it's worth mentioning that the Steam Deck is one of, if not the least powerful handheld in the lineup, but it's also the cheapest by miles, not comparing against the Switch though, because that one's much cheaper. And it officially launches at $399 US, with the most feature-packed one going for $650. The closest other competitor is the entry-level 1X mini player that goes for $1,059, which is almost double the price versus the top of the range Steam Deck. The devices are quite different, however, with the CPUs ranging between some AMD APUs and Intel i7s, but the Steam Deck is the only one featuring the Van-Go option. RAM is also kind of mixed between all of them with speeds and sizes, but the Steam Deck is the only one with LPDDR5 options. Storage looks to be less on the Steam Deck, as well as also featuring only Wi-Fi 5 compared to the Wi-Fi 6 or 6E on some of the others. Also, it is the only one running a Linux operating system, which is going to be the Steam OS 3, whereas the other ones use a Windows 10 or Windows 11. But now, even though it might potentially be slower than the others, at the much lower price point, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I don't mind the spec cuts or anything like that. I just hope that I can actually get one later this year. And if I'm possibly going to get one, it's probably going to be stupid expensive because of all of the taxes and markups and everything that we're also going to have here. But anyway, that's pretty much it for our tech news video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment like always. Also, all of these topics will be released separately as well, so check out the link in the video description for the channel where you can watch it there. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I will check all of you next time. Cheers, guys.